Good evening, America. I'm Lawrence Jones. Welcome to Cross Country. Tonight, we're exposing the threats facing Americans from abroad and from right next door. Starting with spies infiltrating the top levels of U.S. politics. Let's bring you to Honolulu, Hawaii, where feds have charged a couple with possible Soviet-era KGB ties. Authorities say Walter Primrose used that identity to enlist in the Coast Guard, obtain a passport, and Defense Department credentials. This allowed him a secret security clearance. These photos that you're looking at right now of the couple in KGB uniforms were shared in court. Prosecutors called for the couple to be held without bail. And in Tampa, Florida, an indictment alleges a Russian operative infiltrated U.S. political groups to spread pro-Russia propaganda. Prosecutors say Alexander Ionov recruited individuals in Florida, Georgia, and California to act as instruments of the Russian government and political and social media fears. Other countries want to clearly undermine our democracy. So why isn't this getting more coverage? Let's bring in former CIA station chief in Moscow, Dan Hoffman, and former DINA intel officer and author of Putin's Playbook, Rebekah Koffler. Thank y'all so much for joining the program. So Dan, we have depended on you for a lot of our national security. Should we be concerned right now?
We should be. Vladimir Putin, one of his formative experiences was serving in the KGB. And so that's what he does. For him, cloak and dagger espionage is an instrument of his national security strategy. And he's going to seek to use what is our strength, that is in wide open cyberspace and media, to his advantage. And that's what we're seeing in this case.
Yeah, Rebekah, are they taking advantage of the current administration right now? It just seems like they're beating their chests all around the world.
Absolutely, they are taking advantage rather of the Biden administration, which has exhibited tremendous weakness and inability to counter the Russian threat. But like Dan said, Putin has honed his skills, and he is capitalizing on 100 years of Russian spycraft, because the Russians have been doing it for decades. They have been infiltrating the officers, they're called illegals, nelegali, who are burrowing themselves in the U.S. society, studying us so they can exploit our vulnerabilities, such as tremendous polarization and politicization of our society.
Dan, so for, I guess, 4 years, we heard Russia, Russia, Russia. We heard about all these foreign interference in our election. I'm just wondering why there's so many crickets right now about this.
Well, I think this is something that the House and Senate Intelligence Committees should focus on. There's no question that there would be value to holding hearings, open hearings about this, and asking the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, to testify on these issues, just to issue some kind of basic warnings to our citizens, because I think you're right. The more our citizens know about the threats from Russia, from China in particular, and their full-throttled espionage attacks against us, the better off we all are.
Yeah. Rebekah, I want to switch gears for you real quick. You've been hearing a lot about this prisoner swap, this exchange with this guy, the Merchant of Death. What do you know about this guy? I mean, a lot of Americans agree that we need our Americans back home, right? But releasing this guy, is this good for national security?
It is terrible for our national security, Lawrence. In fact, the Biden administration, by releasing this criminal who is serving 25 years for conspiring to kill Americans, the Biden administration is making our security worse. They're endangering many more Americans because they're demonstrating to Putin that his playbook works. Every single time they grab an American, and yes, Brittany Griner violated the Russian law, right? But unwittingly, and so many Americans can end up in the Russian prison so that the Russians can get their asset back. And this guy is a bad dude, and he's indirectly related to Putin himself through Igor Sechin, who is the head of the company Rosneft. So we need to keep him here in jail, and we're praying for Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan, but we cannot act based on emotions. We need to be rational and not jeopardize our national security.
Yeah, there's another American being held for the same charges as well, and they're wondering why they didn't get coverage. Dan, does this man go back to the battlefield? I mean, when we released terrorists from Guantanamo Bay, they were back on the field. So what about this guy?
Yeah, I see this one as a public relations win for Vladimir Putin. Rebecca will know this Russian saying, "Ruski na vойне своих не бросают." The Russians like to say they don't leave their own on the battlefield, which is obviously not the case in Ukraine. There's so many Russian soldiers who have been killed. But Vladimir Putin will use this, if the trade goes down, he'll use it as a PR stunt to try to demonstrate that he takes care of his own and doesn't allow his own to vanquish in prisons in the United States, to be vanquished there. And he'll use that, kind of to distract people and deflect from his failures in Ukraine.
This is bad foreign policy for our country right now, and it puts us all at risk. Rebecca, Dan, thanks so much for joining the program.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.